666. There is a song on that the drums are so like that, and it's just insane, and you can air drum for
We have played it in the past. We have played it in the past here on the Steve Show. If you are not a regular Steve Show listener, then you are a fool, because you'd have heard that very tune. Okay, we'll have a new one from the Hold Steady after this. From the Hold Steady's forthcoming album Stay Positive, that's out on July 14th. That's Sequestered in Memphis, which you can already download from your various MP3 download sites. Harry, we saw them recently, live.
Yeah, it kind of tainted our view of the Hold Steady, didn't it? Because we both liked the album, went to see them, and just were incredibly irritated by them.
Really? The opposite.
They look like End of Term, who play, and the keyboard player and the singer had two of the most punchable faces in rock. But I really did enjoy that, and as long as I don't have to see them perform it, I will continue to support them.
Sophie, you're up in arms at that claim.
But up in arms is probably exaggerating a little bit.
We only work in extremes on this show.
But I wasn't that into them, and I just thought, I'd rather listen to the Boss than listen to the Hold Steady. And then when I went to Latitude last year, and it was all sunny, and they looked so happy, and they do look like a rubbish band of teachers, but the fact that everyone was cheering and they looked so delighted, I got quite carried away.
Rufus, it sounds to me like you would adore a band that looks like a group of teachers, maybe substitute teachers. That's exactly your ideal band.
I like it when bands dress like me. I love going to gigs and seeing just a mirror on stage. I've got big ideas about the lighting for that song, but I haven't got many other opinions about it, really. I thought it was Boss Light, but good lighting.
What kind of lighting would there be?
There's a couple of bits where 5 or 6 massive white Fresnels are going to go into the audience's eyes, and everyone goes, whoa, puts their hands in front of their eyes, and then they carry on dancing.
Did you have a light display much like that at your end of term, Sammy?
No, our teachers were quite miserable, unfortunately, and one got into trouble for philandering with young people. So there you go.
Ooh, that's too much information in a music review.
Could we just have a word for Dan and Harry's alternative version of this? Because I do think it makes the song about 50 times better.
Yeah, we couldn't come up with a rhyme for subpoenaed, but we had sequestered in Leicester, which we much prefer.
Subpoenaed in Greenland.
Oh yeah, Greenland.
Sequestered in Leicester.
It was the best we could come up with.
Yeah, but if anyone's got a better one than Greenland,
please don't get in touch. We haven't got time. We haven't got time. Sammy, sorry.
I'm not first on the Hold Steady. Didn't enjoy the album that much. Should maybe go and see them and enjoy their happy sunny faces, but didn't really get that either, other than the use of some excellent words.
Dan.
Yeah, sorry, I liked the fun element of it, but not really feeling it.
Well, maybe you'll prefer this. Surely you're an old Primal Scream fan, Dan.
Oh yeah.
Well then check this new single out, you fool.
I'll do it now.
From Primal Scream's forthcoming album Beautiful Future, which is out on July 21st, that's the single Can't Go Back. Tiny Dan, you surely were a big fan of Screamadelica.
Huge. I mean, we're talking about songs that change your life. That was definitely in the albums that changed my life thing. Screamadelica, still listening to it now. Probably not many of us left who do that, but I love the Scream, and I've sort of dipped in and out because they change the style quite a lot, and every time I start to think, I've probably heard enough Primal Scream songs now, and then they just put one out that draws me back in again, and they've done it that time. I'm interested in the new album.
Sophie.
I just don't like Primal Scream, and I never really have. I don't. And as I was saying, I feel like whenever I hear a Primal Scream song that I think, this is quite good, I think I'd rather be listening to Exile on Main Street. I do. And also, when they do their, look, we're really different this time, like we've taken all the vowels out of our name, so now we're called Primal Scream, and we do naughty songs called things like Swastika Eyes, and I just think, Bobby.
Rufus, what kind of costumes would you imagine them wearing whilst performing that song?
I would be wearing, my costume is much more important than theirs, obviously. I'd be wearing very, very tight skinny jeans and a borrowed T-shirt, a girlfriend's T-shirt, I think.
Right, a bit too tight.
And they'd be in ill-fitting suits. And it's not a good song. It didn't grab me. I was running on fumes by the end of the song.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Sammy?
Totally with Sophie on this one. Never got the Scream. Never got it. That was all right if you were in a pub waiting for somebody because you immediately can sing along with it. But other than that, I just don't get it.
The final word goes to Harry.
Well, they move with the times, don't they, Primal Scream? They've adopted the cheesy synth sounds that everyone loves these days. I quite enjoyed that, but my problem with Primal Scream is I'm terrified of them. They look like horrible, horrible people, and if I ever met them, I'd probably wet myself.
You wouldn't be surprised to come home and find them squatting in your flat, would you? You've gone away for 2 weeks.
Literally.
Absolutely. Okay, so thank you very much indeed to Sophie, and the book that you've contributed to is Time Out, 1,000 Songs to Change Your Life. It's worth digging out. A good read. Thanks to the gang, and we managed to
Thank you.
Thank you. We managed to find Frankie Howard's version of Je T'aime, which I think, in a way, is the perfect introduction to Stuart McConey's Freak Zone. If you like more eccentric tunes, then you'll get plenty there. So we'll leave you with just a little snatch of Frankie Howard. Oh no! Come on, no, Mrs. What? Oh no! Don't what? Ooh, no! What? Oh no! Ooh, what? No! Oh. From 2001 in the album Gold, that's Ryan Adams and New York, New York. It's the Steve Show, BBC Six Music, with me, Stephen Merchant, and my little gang of cronies. We've got Harry, who works in a bank.
Yes, hello.
Oh, there you are. And we've got Sammy, she's from the north.
I am indeed. Hello, Stephen.
Oh, there she's lovely. And we've also got Tiny Dan, an incredibly tiny man.
Hello.
Pathetically small.
I imagine you can barely see Dan, can you, Steve?
Well, now then, that's an interesting comment, and you're chuckling away there in an in-jokey kind of way, because to the average listener, they're just thinking, oh, it's the usual Steve Show. But what they don't realise, of course, is that we love to push the boundaries. We're edgy. We don't like to remain in our comfort zone. We like to, just do something a little different, a little wild, which is why the crazy gang there, as I've just nicknamed them, are sat comfortably at the BBC in London. Oh, hang on a minute. Where's Steve? Look around, Tiny Dan. Where? Can you see him?
There. No, hang on. That's a toy monkey. That's not you. Do you know, I can't see you for love nor money, Steve.
No, and do you know why?
No.
Well, you do know why, don't you, silly?
I do know why, yes, but perhaps you should say.
The reason I'm not there present in the line of sight of Tiny Dan is not because he cannot see above the desk, but because I'm in New York City, the Big Apple. Yes, exactly. Now, I can't go into the reasons why I'm here, because they're not interesting. But, this is a real first for the Steve Show, because as I say, am broadcasting live from NYC, whereas the gang are there in the studio in London, which is very confusing to everyone. We don't know if it's going to work. It may be cripplingly awful. It may be embarrassing. On the other hand, it may be Sony Award-winning Radio Gold. I'm leaning towards the former, particularly as I can't see anyone and I'm not pressing the buttons. So we've got Jude, lovely Jude, pressing the buttons. Say hello, Jude.
Hello. I have a microphone today.
And it's all desperately exciting. She likes to keep this first link tight. So let's play another tune and we'll talk again in a sec.
Come on, man.
Born and raised in Queens, that's of course Ladies Love 90, and I'm desperately excited because not only is that one of my favourite hip-hop tunes of all time, but if all goes well later on in the next hour of the show, we will be speaking exclusively live to Ladies Love Cool James, LL Cool J. That's got to be the biggest guest we've ever had on the show, certainly the most significant, and certainly the only ones who have shifted something like 13 million records. So look forward to that. Also, live music as well from the Duke Spirit. I wish I could say they had some kind of New York connection. As far as I'm aware, they don't. But maybe we can drum one up in the next hour or so. And so I mean, it should be a big show. Guys, are you excited?
Very.
Yeah.
Very
Wildly.
excited.
Thank you. you managed to capture your excitement there in your voices. Been a busy week for all of you?
Yeah, very much so. I was at the Derby yesterday, got sunburn, which is quite exciting. But on Friday, I went to a big conference with all our private banker people, and it was amazing. I've never really understood how their minds worked before, salesmen of any type. But I went to this big thing. It was in this huge arena in Birmingham, and it was like some sort of Nazi rally. It really was. or I imagine it's also similar to what it must be like when you join one of those odd cults, because they just get you so pumped up. As soon as I walked out, I just wanted to phone up one of our bank's clients and just tell them how great we were. It was just wonderful.
So have you been brainwashed? Because you're quite a cynical man. You're not the sort of guy that's easily sort of persuaded by that kind of shizzle.
Well, this is it. I've always been quite proud of the fact that I'm just a big rock, an emotionless pillar of salt. But no, they really got to me.
An emotionless pillar of salt. Right.
But no, they really got to me. It was incredible. I see how Darren Brown does his stuff now.
Can you whoop us up into a frenzy? Because it's very difficult to feel, the team bonding when I'm this side of the Atlantic.
No, it is hard, and to be honest, I'm not sure I picked up their presentational skills, as you can probably tell.
I, of course, landed in NYC on Friday morning. A lot of you saying, well, Steve, you were going on Thursday night. Yeah. Tell you what happened there. missed the old plane.
Didn't you do this before? No, this happened the time a few years ago we went to New York and you were coming over to meet me the same day.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call off of you when I was at Heathrow. Your passport's expired.
Yeah, well,
You've
no
not
such
done that well, have you?
no such hapless luck this time. I've actually missed 4 planes in my life. I'm beginning to think it might be me.
Yeah.
Might be something to do with me. But this is pretty grim because it set off, gave myself plenty of time, got stuck in terrible traffic, hopped out, grabbing the bag, dragging it along the pavement, hopped on the tube, took the wrong tube line.
What?
Ended up in somewhere called Gunnersbury, that I think is, I don't know where. I had to trundle all the way back. And I made a series of bad decisions. Got to Heathrow at sort of 8:05. Plane was taking off at 8:25. Even a man of my status wasn't able to hot-foot it through and get on the plane. And there's a sort of horrible despondency that sets in, you know, when you get to about 7:45 and you realise you're not going to make it, and you're just resigned to the fact it's not going to happen. And it's so agonising because, of course, there's just time, so much time wasted. But I cheered myself up when I got to the other side. Bought myself a new hat.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so look forward to that next week, guys. I'm going to be bringing that in. No. There was a lot of discussion last time, a lot of naysaying about my hat. Bought a new hat, but from a proper New Yorker who was amazing, who just, I can't really do the accent. Well, maybe I'll give it a try. My Wogan's dynamite, why not? But he just kept saying stuff like, it's the best you've ever looked. This hat, it's the best you've ever looked. You will never look better than this. That's pretty good, right?
That's amazing.
That's pretty solid. And, but what was great is he kept arguing with his wife, who kept trying to do other stuff. He said, I'm trying to sell a hat to this guy. What do you want me to do? And, I don't know.
What was
Hot
this?
dogs!
This is a man in the street. He just
a man in the street selling hats. But then later I was in Central Park, NYC, and another man saw my hat and said, hey, where'd you get your hat, buddy? And I said, and I told him, and he went off to buy a hat exactly like it. So, this guy was in his 50s, I should point out.
Important point, Steve. Central Park, full of nutters, so I can't trust that man's judgment. Important question 2, is it wicker?
Well, it's got a wicker-esque feel, but I think it's slightly classier. He told me it was silk, although I noticed that the label inside has been conspicuously cut out, so I'm wondering if it's 100% polyester. But yeah, $25. I think you'll be making your judgment next week. One of the interesting elements of today's show is the fact that many of the songs have a New York theme to them. Okay, it may seem pedestrian, but I just thought, why not? It gives the show, you know, at least some kind of continuity. Here's the Wombats, Moving to New York.
BBC 6 Music.
Live from New York, it's Sunday afternoon, Steve. 95 degrees here in the big city. It is actually, it's very hot, it's blisteringly hot. Probably cruise down to the beach later. Look forward to that, ladies. Do you know what's frustrating about missing that plane is that in the past, when you do it, you know, if you're travelling business class, they normally just whisk you through, carry your bags for you, delay the plane. One time I was actually flying business class, someone else was paying for it, and they actually delayed the plane so I could finish a massage I was having in the VIP waiting area. It's amazing. And then they rushed us through on one of those little carts, you know, little four-wheel carts. You know, the average punter like you, Tiny Dan, would never actually get to go on one of those carts.
It's good that you've kept connected to your roots, though. You know, it hasn't changed you.
Please ask permission when you're going to speak. But yeah, no, I've always thought it would be nice to be one of those guys that you see rushing to getting personally driven to the plane, and that has been me. But sadly, this time, I was paying for the flight myself, so obviously I went for the cheapest possible ticket. And it's quite ugly when you have to turn left, have to turn right, having turned left in the past. And you see them pull the curtain across, and you just peer in. You can see the free champagne in the newspapers. I had to buy my own copy of the Daily Mail. I tell you, be careful of teenagers. But anyway, so while I was on the plane, you know, 11 hours, I couldn't really sleep, obviously, because I didn't have the reclining seat. But I came up with a fantastic business idea. It had been simmering away in my mind since I was at a wedding a couple of weekends ago, and it's a fantastic business idea. But I will tell you that in a kind of Dragon's Den way. I will present it to you after.